So I sat through 4 awful Transformer movies, um, 2 really terrible G.I. Joe movies, and 3 forgettable Star Trek reboots. And yet it's the franchise that I enjoyed the less, still enjoyed nonetheless, that actually impressed me. It's the end times, folks. It really is the end time, folks. So as you probably have guessed from the title of this video, I just came back, it's 1 a.m. in the morning, from Power Rangers, which, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't expecting much going into this. I heard it was good. I was expecting it to be Pacific Rim good, which means shut off my brain, don't think about it. But no, this was actually better than Pacific Rim, and I loved Pacific Rim. So what happened? What is it that the Transformers franchise and the G.I. Joe franchise and the Star Trek franchise being rebooted is missing here? What is it that made um, what is it that made Power Rangers reboot actually work? Okay, I think a lot of people kind of went into this hoping that it would be like Saban, like the original Saban thing, you know, the original Sentai approach to it and everything. That's what they were expecting. I mean, of course, what else would you expect? The first Power Rangers movie was just basically trying to do the same formula over again, which is probably why it failed, because what makes Power Rangers work is the fact that it borrowed from a lot of the original Sentai. And what made the original Power Rangers movie fail is that it tried to continue the same pattern without actually understanding what it was dealing with. So with this reboot, they did something completely original with it. They realized that they weren't trying to recreate the original Sentai, because Americans do that pretty badly. They're very good with adapting Sentai to the Power Rangers storyline, but when it actually comes to um, doing it themselves, they're not as good. Um, they're not as exaggerated. And that's probably what makes Power Rangers reboot, the Power Rangers 2017, work for me. It is very much, in every sense of the word, a very atypical American film. And it doesn't pretend to be otherwise. Well done. Well done. I must admit, I watched the trailers. I kind of liked the trailers. But I kind of almost got this vibe that we were going to be getting another Gem movie, and we all know how bad the Gem movie was. And yes, I am going to be doing a review on the Gem movie. But this, for what it was actually pretty awesome. Was actually very impressive. What can I say? Um, it, it had the right amount of grit, the right amount of realism, for want of a better word. Went for almost a Breakfast Club approach to it. That's pretty obvious, seeing as though all the teenagers are in detention. That's not much of a spoiler, trust me. I'm not going to give away too much in this review. But and then there was almost the exact right amount of cheese as well, which actually made it even better, which actually made it really work. Rita Repulsa has to, the woman they got to play Rita Repulsa, forgive me if the actresses and the actors are way over my head, because I really don't really keep track of actors or famous movie star names, to be honest with you. Off the top of my head, Vin Diesel just kind of pops there, but that's only because there was a trailer for the new Fast and Furious sequel. But yeah, it was really good. Rita Repulsa was played extremely well. She didn't get, it wasn't so much that she got the best lines or the worst lines, she had the right lines. She was very much Rita Repulsa, even though, it, well, they actually gave it a hell of a lot of work. When the film actually opened, the first 3 minutes just made me realize, my God, I'm in for one hell of a ride here. And the first 2 minutes, 3 minutes, was very, very dark. And it really just got better as it went along. There was none of this pussyfooting around the real violence of the situation as well. I mean, this was a mature version of a kids show. You know, where in the kids show everybody survives. In this one, well, people die. And people die very gruesomely as well. Rita is very repulsive as a character. She is the epitome of evil. I love the story they put behind the power gems and the corruption, the potential corruption behind the Power Ranger gems, and the fact that even Power Rangers can be corrupted by their own ambitions. And it's not going to be any surprise to you who Rita Repulsa is, or what Rita Repulsa was. The kids, I really actually warmed to them. I really wasn't expecting that. I would, you know, in the original kind of let's get some moody, angsty teenagers to be the Power Rangers. And to be honest with you, they had first world problems in that one. In this one, they have real issues. They have real parent issues. They have real family issues. They have real personal issues. They have real connection issues. And to see them develop their own connection as a team, to see that emotion build, to see them actually come together as a team whose responsibility it is to save the world, was, I'm rambling a little. And it wasn't just the teenagers that impressed me, and the fact that they were real teenagers. Thank you for actually giving us some real teenagers for a change. But Zordon himself went through a character arc as well. Watching Zordon actually having to develop his trust in these teenagers was something so overwhelming, especially his own personal sacrifice to make it work. I can't believe I actually smiled when I heard what he said. When I heard what he said, when he made that personal sacrifice, he literally took that leap of faith that he originally doesn't have. Yeah, these kids are the Power Rangers, but his original intents were very selfish in the film, and it was actually good to actually see that it wasn't just the kids we were focusing on. It wasn't just Zordon we were focusing on. It wasn't just Rita we were focusing on. It was every single one of them. I was going to say it's not a perfect film. It really isn't. The ending does get extremely cheesy, but it was kind of what I was expecting at the end of the day. You have all this serious build-up to to have this really cheesy ending to it, which it was a good payoff. It was a reasonable payoff. It was what I was starting to just what I would expect from a Power Rangers film. Goldar. I wish they hadn't done what they did with him. I wasn't really impressed with that, but I guess they had so much to work with lore-wise. I mean, it wasn't like they were creating a series. They were trying to cram it all into a 2-hour movie. So I guess I can forgive that. A lot of people complain about Alpha 5. I can't. I'm not particularly impressed by the way he looks, but I got to admit, out of all of the characters, Alpha 5 was the one who actually brought them together. he was the one that, you know, that despite everything still had faith. He was the one who eventually inspired not just the team but Zordon himself in very subtle ways that you couldn't understand. And yeah, it's a CGI fest, especially at the end, fully CGI fest compared to the original Power Rangers movie. Hell, it was an improvement. It was an improvement. It's what I would expect from an Americanization of what was originally American adaptation of Japanese footage. They made it their own. And I think that's probably why I can actually say, without doubt, Power Rangers was my favorite reboot. They actually did it right. They actually did something right. I can't believe I'm saying that. The angst, a lot of people were complaining in the trailer probably was too much. No, I don't think it was. I think they did a fantastic job with it. Like I said, they tried very hard to make it a Breakfast Club action movie. I wouldn't say it would stand up to the quality of of um, of the Breakfast Club. It wasn't that good a film, but it was still wow. I'm really glad I went to watch it on the big screen rather than the DVD. It was really good to see how these characters slowly developed. You know, these were the impossible team. You know, they shouldn't really have come together, but the way the writer portrayed them, and the way the writer portrayed them coming together, how their incompatibility suddenly became more, and suddenly, you know, they transcended that very well. So yeah, it was good. It was good, and you know me, I'm very rarely impressed by reboots. I'm very rare of reinvention, but this was actually very good. It's one of those films you either love or probably hate, but I loved it. I really did. Anything that, you know, I would watch this over any Michael Bay shit. I would watch this over the G.I. Joe reboots. I would never. I haven't even seen the TMNT movies. I don't want to see the TMNT movies. I'm not impressed with. But this, yeah, I'd walk out and see a sequel. I would, and they really do set it up well for a sequel. And I'm pretty sure that there will be a sequel. I only hope that if they do a sequel, that they treat it just as well. What I can tell from the Power Rangers reboots is that they learned a lot from Spider-Man and the Amazing Spider-Man, and the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and maybe a little bit from the DCU as well, because there's a lot of hints in the inspirations in there. So, and thank you so much for no cameos. I'm so glad that there wasn't a cameo in there, and hopefully the sequel will not have cameos. One thing that really annoys me about reboots is cameo appearances. The overplayed Spock in Star Trek reboot, I was glad to see him, don't get me wrong, but I think they overplayed Spock. The Ghostbusters movie with the cameos from the original cast members. A reboot doesn't need that kind of nostalgia. All a reboot needs is to be done right. And I don't like reboots. You know me, I don't like reboots. Yet for some reason, this was the reboot that actually sold me. Wow. So it was good to be proven wrong. It was actually good, felt good to be proven wrong that a reboot can actually work. Well done, Saban. Well done, Lionsgate. You actually won me over. It's the end of the world. It's really the end of the world. Until next time, ciao.